Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video, and today we're talking about the Year 2 expansion, Forsaken. And you know what? I'm genuinely quite excited. It's been a while since I've been properly excited about a Destiny expansion. When Curse of Osiris and Warmind were revealed, there were aspects of those expansions that intrigued me, things that kept me busy for brief periods of time, but it's been a while since I felt that genuine rush of excitement. The feeling that makes me go, okay, can I have this now please, because that actually looks really cool. And while yes, it is early days, if Bungie do deliver on everything they showed during stage reveal stream and in the VIDOC, then Destiny 2 might just give us what we've been asking for after all this time. Some may say it's too late, and if that's your stance, then that is completely cool. But if you're someone who, each time an expansion is announced, sits there eagerly hoping for a reason to jump back in, then Forsaken might just be that time. During stage reveal stream, they shared a lot of information, and while they plan to delve deeper into many aspects of the game over the summer in subsequent live streams, the VIDOC they played, which is linked down below if you want to see it, did show some very promising things. Progression, investment, new activities, enemies, gear, weapons, basically all the stuff that we play Destiny 4 and want to chase. So in this video, I'm going to give you a complete recap of everything we currently know about Forsaken, in the event you missed it or just want a concise summary. So if you do enjoy this video, you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Has any of this sparked your interest? Do you see yourself jumping back in September? Is it too early? Either way, let me know. Now, to begin with, let's start at the top. What is Destiny 2 Forsaken, and when can you play it? Well, Destiny 2 Forsaken is the Year 2 expansion for Destiny 2. Bungie have said that all the feedback they received over the past year, everything people have been asking for and complaining about, this is their chance to address it, and it's slated to launch this year on September 4th on PS4, Xbox One and PC. While today's stream didn't delve too deep into the story, in fact they said that we'll probably find out more about that at E3, briefly the expansion will give us two brand new destinations to explore, the first of which is the Tangled Shore, a new, never before seen part of the reef, full of pirates, assassins and other deadly enemies, and the second is an endgame location, a place called the Dreaming City, homeland of the Awoken, and we'll speak more about that a little later in this video. Of course, as you'd expect, the expansion also adds a whole array of new gear and weapons to acquire, and this time around it is genuinely new stuff, and apparently there's lots of it. There's also a completely new game mode that blurs the lines between PvE and PvP, there's a new raid, new missions, things to discover, stuff to earn, and also new supers. So in short, this isn't like your Curse of Osiris or Warmind expansions, this is a big shake-up. This looks to be Destiny 2's equivalent to the Taken King. This is the expansion that could turn Destiny 2 around. So, let's start with the new weapon system. I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with how weapons work in Destiny 2 right now, and if you play Destiny 1, then you're likely not a fan of this new system. Having to essentially carry two primary weapons and one heavy, which all but reduces some weapon types to a near useless state, well, Forsaken is going to shake things up. From what they've shown in the VIDOC, there appears to be almost complete freedom within your weapon slots. You can run your loadout like it is now, if you so wish. You can run it more like Destiny 1 and bring some of those power weapons into your second slot, allowing you to carry, say, an auto rifle, a sniper rifle, and a rocket launcher. Or you can even go as far as to carry 3 shotguns for all-out mayhem. Now, there are some obvious questions here, like, can I carry 3 rocket launchers, 3 snipers, etc.? And for that, we're still going to have to wait and see, but at least when it comes to weapon slot diversity, that is coming back. In addition to this, random weapon rolls are also making a return. So gone are the days where every single, say, Better Devils or any other weapon you care to name is the same. This, in itself, is a pretty important step since random weapon rolls were one aspect of Destiny that kept people coming back. It brings the excitement back into loot, because every time something drops, you genuinely want to inspect it to see if it's any good. It also means if there's a particular weapon you like, you can keep chasing it in the hope of finding a better version of that same model. On top of that, they're also making changes to the way that weapon mods work too, and while we have yet to see that in action, they mentioned that it should allow you to tweak or customize your weapons in ways that matter to you. They're also expanding out the Masterwork system too, so that you're able to move your levels up over time, so this should provide some more long-term progression for your weapons on top of everything else you have at base level. In short, it gives you something to invest into, which again, is something that Destiny 2 still, to this day, really lacks. One of the goals they set out to accomplish with this expansion was to, quote-unquote, reinforce the Destiny hobby and bring back depth to the Destiny experience. So, hopefully, this is one step towards that. Moving on from there, let's talk about something completely new and exciting. Supers. Now to be clear, the way this was phrased within the stream specifically made mention to new supers and not new subclasses. So while we have yet to see any sort of tree in depth, It's important to manage expectations. While these changes will, without a doubt, change the way that we use our characters, going based on the stuff they spoke about, it looks like we're going to be getting new options for our existing subclasses rather than new ones altogether. That doesn't mean to say there won't be new subclasses, but going based on what we've seen so far, this is what we know. We've seen a Hunter who can throw out a fan of flaming knives, which is a different take on Golden Gun. You have a Titan who can wield a giant flaming hammer, bigger than the hammer of old, and when you slam it into the ground, it creates a flaming tornado. The Arc Strider appears to gain the ability to deflect projectiles by spinning the staff in front of them. There's a new Void Warlock ability that, to quote Kevin Yanes, senior PvP designer, is super anime and allows you to teleport super fast and unleash an explosion. The Arc Warlock can essentially go full Dragon Ball and just do a Kamehameha, and there's a Titan who almost looks like he's doing a rugby dive with an Arc Charge. Also, there's a few extra screenshots that were sent out afterwards too, and one of them features a Void Hunter with twin blades. So while a lot of these abilities are still a bit of a mystery, we do at least know that there will be a total of 9 new supers, meaning 1 for each of the 3 class-specific subclasses, which in turn will give us new ways to play. Of course, as with any expansion, there's a whole new array of gear and weapons to earn, and amongst that there's also a completely new weapon type, a bow. And it seems like that bow will fit in a number of different scenarios. There's a short range, medium range, and long range bow, and while it might seem a little odd taking that into a fight against, say, machine guns or rocket launchers, by the looks of things, it's pretty lethal. And on the armor front, already in the small gameplay snippets we've seen from the video, there are some exciting new sets to pursue, but apparently there are now 2,000 items in game to obtain. Now I imagine that'll split across the 3 different classes, but still that's a considerable step up from the limited reskin selection we have right now. They're also working on more exciting and bespoke armor perks too, things that'll actually matter to us as opposed to what we have right now, so on the armor front, those two will begin to matter again. Of course, with each new expansion, you get your typical content additions like story missions, new strikes, crucible maps, a new raid, etc. But this time, Forsaken also introduces a brand new activity, a 4v4 hybrid that combines both PvE and PvP into an activity known as Gambit. Gambit will see 2 teams of 4 race to summon a primeval enemy and be the first to burn it down. However, throughout the event, you can also send teammates over to the other side to disrupt the enemy team and block their progress. You begin the activity being able to see the enemy team in a game show style setup, you then split off and each team is in their own separate arena and they're being assaulted by typical enemies. Killing these enemy combatants will see them drop motes and you collect these as you go. You can then bank these to send blockers over to the enemy side to lock them down and slow the enemy team's progress. Additionally, filling up this bank is what will also allow you to summon your primeval, the boss that you need to defeat in order to complete the event and win the round. However, throughout the event, at key moments, you can also send one of your team members over to physically disrupt the enemy team and take them out, working in that PvP component. So this definitely sounds, at least on paper, like a fun and repeatable mode that you can jump into with a group of friends and have some fun with. I'd imagine it'll also yield loot, hopefully endgame loot, but that much hasn't been discussed yet, so let's move on from there. Next up, let's revisit the Dreaming City I spoke about at the beginning, since this is going to be an important destination for a lot of players. The Dreaming City is the home of the new raid, and they said that with this new raid they want to go back to the epic adventure feeling where you're heading out to slay a giant monster, and apparently this raid has more bosses than any raid they've ever done before. But of course, the actual details from within are still heavily under wraps. That's kind of how they always do things. However, what's interesting is that the endgame is about more than just the raid. The Dreaming City plays a much bigger role than just being a location for the raid. This destination is an endgame destination, a place you can explore. You don't just fly there to go into the raid, you actually visit this destination, and it's a space in itself. It has mysteries to uncover. They described it like if the Dreadnought and Vault of Glass had a baby. It's designed to be a destination that has puzzles you need to solve, but it's also a destination that evolves. When you're raiding, you can affect this location, so the Dreaming City you visit and explore on the first week might not be the same when you explore it in, say, week 3. And this to me sounds exciting. Raiding to this day is still my favourite thing in Destiny, so as a whole destination dedicated to uncovering secrets and getting involved in endgame activities, I am completely down with that. However, Destiny is about more than just raiding, more than just the traditional endgame. Bungie also wants to do something for the collectors out there as well, for people that play the game a little bit differently or choose to spend their time in different ways. There will be a lot of changes that allow players to really plan their time and where they choose to invest it. There's this new feature called Collections, which allow you to track all the items you can go out and acquire, gear, weapons, shaders, emblems, ships, sparrows, you name it. You can look at sets in the collection to see how much you've completed, what you still have left to get, where to go in order to find it, at least to a certain degree. The game won't hold your hand and take you there, but it'll at least point you in the direction so you can focus your efforts. There's also a triumph section, which goes further towards acknowledging your achievements. It ties into records and lore, and again, it's something that allows you to drive your focus or plan your time if you want something more meaningful to chase. So, right now, that's all we have on the information front. A lot of stuff that sounds very promising, and hopefully, as we begin to see more throughout the year, that'll help solidify that this is, in fact, the steps towards the Destiny that we've been wanting. However, before I wrap up the video, let's go over the actual expansion itself, because yes, it is an expansion, a paid one. This isn't free content, but hopefully, what they're delivering will make it worthwhile. On the website right now, you can pre-order the Forsaken expansion, if that's your thing, but there's a few things to get your head around. There are 3 main versions. For $40, you can get the expansion, and if you pre-order, there's also some extra goodies too. An emblem, an emote, weapon ornament, and a ship. However, if you grab the $70 version, you can get all of that plus the annual pass, which I'll explain in a second. And then if you grab the deluxe edition for $80, you can get all of that, plus some extra items, an ornament for the Wrath Majestic Legendary Bow, the Dirge Paladin emblem, the Vestian Ghost Shell, and some Fireteam medallions. But what exactly is the annual pass? Well, they're referring to it as an annual pass as opposed to a season pass because it's supposed to reflect the new way they plan to deliver content. With previous iterations of Destiny, you buy the game and the season pass, and that covers the next 2 DLC expansions. However, this time, they plan to release more than just 2 DLC expansions. Alongside all the usual live events, the annual pass will provide players with access to the next 3 content expansions. Black Armory in winter 2018, Joker's Wild in spring 2019, and Penumbra in summer 2019. Each of these releases will deliver new experiences for Destiny 2 Forsaken, activities, endgame content, weapons, gear, all the usual sort of stuff. Now, of course, this is completely optional, you don't have to get this, and if you're still unsure, then by all means hold out. But for those of you wondering exactly what it is, then that is what the different versions include. But for the time being, that's pretty much it. That is everything we currently know about Destiny 2 Forsaken. Bungie are going to be taking Gambit to E3 as the playable activity, and both myself and TwoSixNine will be over there, so we're looking to go hands-on with that to bring you guys as much information as possible. I appreciate that a lot of people might still be hesitant to get excited this early on, and I completely get that, but we have plenty of time between now and September. There'll be chances to play, more live streams to learn more, so if you're not convinced just yet, then keep it locked, and as the year goes on, we'll discover the game together. But until then, thanks very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.